Luis Castillo called me yesterday because he didn't have the information. I think he signed up last night. Him and one other person.
Nice. Okay, we're gonna stream. All right. Good morning. 1 second here while we give people a couple of minutes to jump on. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Morning, Natalia.
Good morning.
So I labeled today's title From Money to God, which is a book that I am working on as well. It's interesting, lately I've really been wanting to have more spirit, more God in conversations with money. And I think it's extremely important that we recognize where our spiritual goals are, our spiritual values are when it comes to making investments, when it comes to, any careers that we pursue, any businesses that we want to open. We want to be spiritually conscious or God conscious of what we're doing. I believe that a lot of people feel lost, and I hear this a lot. People that are just challenged, are like, I don't know why things are happening the way that it's happening, or a lot of victim stories to really the choices that they've made in their life, whether it be the career that they chose or an investment that they make or anything along that line. When you don't have a deeper connection to why it is that you do what you do, it's very easy to stray off the path and get confused at what do I even want in this moment, right? Because many times we will think that it's the money that we want, it's the deal that we want, it's the closing that we want. We prefer things to work out a certain way. And we think that if it worked out that way, it would bring happiness and joy into our lives. It will fulfill the depth of my soul if this investment only worked out, if I was only able to close this deal, if I could just make a little more money this month or this year, then I would be happy, right? And oftentimes we find that that's not the case. And you may be like, how is that not the case? If you really think about your life, you work hard, you get the job that you want, and then you spend a lot of hours doing that, and then you end up forgetting the things that are important, and you still lose your peace when you get home. You get home, you get into an argument with your spouse, you get into an argument with your dog. Last night we had a disagreement. Me and my dog had a disagreement, and she got mad and pooped in my room. It's funny. So, we still lose our peace, even though we get all the things that we think we want in this world, the material world. And what the Course says is that our focus, because if we focus on the wanting of material things in the world, it will only leave us making this dream world more real. And this is not the world that we want. What we want is the peace of God. What we want is to return to the kingdom. What we want is to, if you are uncomfortable with these terms, replace God, replace spirit, replace heaven with, whatever you want. You can call it the universal intelligence, the cosmic intelligence, life force, Allah, like anything that you want to call it. It's really symbols pointing to the same thing. So the invitation for today's call is first to relinquish the judgment that you have about what you think religion is, spirituality is, God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. Let the symbols of those words go and see if you can be here with an open mind and an open heart. Okay, that's the invitation for you guys being here, so that we may open up something for ourselves and recognize the divine that is always in operation in life. We may recognize the energy that flows and connects all of us as brothers and sisters. So again, I made the title today, From Money to God. I'm working on a book also called From Money to God. And I think it's really important to understand what money really is. Money isn't what money is not. Okay, when we try to identify some things, let's say we try to identify love in the course, or we try to identify things that cannot be taught. All right, so the course actually says, we cannot teach you what love is, for love is beyond what can be taught. However, love can experience. You can experience love. And the way that we try to understand love and we try to understand God is really to look at all the things that are in the way, the blockages that are in the way of our awareness to those things. By unblocking those things and by bringing awareness to these blockages, you will put yourself in a position to experience love. And it's not the love that we have in the world. Again, I'm going to point to, a lot of times I will point to the world that we live in, which the Course calls a dream world, the world full of illusions, a world that is from our perceptions, right? Like 8 billion people live on this planet, and there's 8 billion interpretations of the world. There's 8 billion viewpoints of the world. So the Course defines this illusion, this dream world, by that it is always changing. Like our perception of the world changes throughout our lifetime based on who comes into our life, what experiences we have, that we experience through the body. See, it's not we're not really, when we're unconscious, we're not really experiencing the world through a divine, a holy mindset. We're just experiencing the world through the body. And this is why we lose our peace and we get upset and we get confused and we're conflicted all the time, is because we're experiencing the world through this body and we are invested into a dream. And the dream doesn't make any sense. The dream is always conflicting. It's always twisted. Sometimes it works this way, sometimes it doesn't. Right? Sometimes I'll have peace in my relationship. Sometimes I'll feel like, oh, this is love. I feel love. And then sometimes this love is sacrifice. And it just bounces back and forth. And we can never put a true definition on anything in this world because it's built off of perceptions. Your perception can always be challenged. Somebody else has always got a different viewpoint. So it's not the truth. It just ends up being your truth with a lowercase t, not a capital T truth. So the way that I want to define money for everybody, I want to introduce, and I've said this before, but just the concept of how do we make money more holy? Okay, how do we see money for what it is and use it in a way that serves remembering God? And the way that you remember God is you remember your function in this world. You align your will to the will of His or hers, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say, whatever makes you more comfortable. Right? I had somebody tell me, like, how come you're always saying God as He? I'm like, okay, well, I'll start saying God as she. How's that? Right? I don't know. It's words. All right. Don't get caught. When we get caught up in words, we forget, we lose sight of what is the function or what is the purpose of this conversation. We get caught up on some meaningless thing, right? Some meaningless thing that we want to be right about. And this whole being right about things is the reason why we get into trouble ourselves. Let me take a sip right here. So
while you take a sip, can I
Okay.
say happy birthday to everybody?
Yeah, sure.
Happy birthday, everybody. I hope you have a good one.
Thank you.
Because I know that there's a whole bunch of you. So I don't
Yeah.
want to I don't want to exclude anybody. So happy birthday, every single one of you. And I hope you have a great day and have fun tonight at the party. I wish I was there.
The party's tomorrow night, but thank you.
Oh,
Thank you
well,
so much. We got a party going on tonight also, but
Oh,
thank you
right.
so much.
Okay.
well, have
Birthday
fun at the
parties.
party and then think of me. I'll be there in spirit.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Will do. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're welcome.
So money and God, how does that even work? Right. And I just stated that God, to recognize God is to start to recognize God in your brothers and your sisters. Okay. When people show up and you judge them based on their actions and their words, when you decide that you're going to be the judge, you are out of alignment with your source, with the Father. Because you have decided in this moment that I will play God. So I'm going to judge this person based on their actions and their words. I'm judging them. And we're literally saying, God, move over. You didn't create this person in a godly way. I will judge. I will be the judge. I will sit on the throne. So you've disconnected yourself. And the only problem we ever have in our lives is our disconnection in our communication with source or with our Father. That's the only problem that we have. Because if we were completely connected, if our channel was clear, anything that ever happens in my life, I would know that it came not from me, but from the higher power, from the Creator, from the Father. And then if that channel was always clear, I would always be in a trusting space and I would never lose my peace. I would never say, why this, why that happened? You know, why would this person commit this act? Or why would this person say this in this moment? I wouldn't question any of that. I only question it when I disconnect from our Creator, from my Creator. Because in that moment, what I'm implying is that I don't trust that you, God, did it correctly. You messed up here somehow. That's why this person would do this or that. And then there's a part of our mind that says that wants to say everything happens for a reason. And we try to tell ourselves this, but do we truly believe that? Because if we truly believed it, then we would be in acceptance and surrender to everything that happens. So how do we bring more trust, more surrender, more acceptance, more forgiveness into our life, into our financial life? Because if we start to see money correctly, if we perceive it correctly, it's no different than the way that love operates. And I always wanted to bring this conversation together is understanding love and understanding money, because they can be both they can both be used the same way. And the way that you use money is the way you will use love. So do you think of love more like money, or do you think money more like love? That now becomes the question that I invite you guys to ponder and reflect on throughout the day. Love grows when it is shared and when it is given. The more you give it, the bigger it gets. That's the way love works. Money, on the other hand, we think that the more we give it, the less we now have. And maybe on some level, we have this philosophy that we want to accept, which is, yeah, in giving and in tithing and charity, we recognize the abundance that we have. Yeah, wisdom points to that for us. But then how much of our income are we donating to charity? How much money are we spending towards ourselves versus spending for some greater cause? Right? How much money do we donate? And I've been asking myself this question. Every year I try to ramp it up. But my income far exceeds how fast I ramp up my charity. Right? It's like, all right, good job, Alex. You donate $1,000 a month. But what percentage is that to your income? Right? And for a while, I just did it for the sake of like, oh, I'm just on this auto payment plan with the Humane Society. I'm auto plan with teaching financial freedom to underprivileged people around the world that normally would not have access to this with the Cardone Foundation, right? Like I'm on like auto payment with them. But it's like I leave it and then I make it unconscious now. So another aspect, the second part of it is about bringing consciousness and awareness and presence to what you're doing. Like instead of this auto payment thing, just to make myself feel a little bit better, can I actually, what is my most precious resource now? It's my time. Do I take my time to do these things? Or am I just like, oh, here's money and I'm throwing it that way? Right? The ego, okay, there's two teachers only. There's one, which is the ego, which you've created, which is an illusion. There's two, which is the Holy Spirit, which has the answers and remembers the kingdom for you, but also accepts what you have accepted in the world and gently guides you in the right direction all the time. Okay, maybe sometimes it may seem rough, but it's not rough. Because to the Holy Spirit, there is no judgment of rough and gentleness, but it's always truth does not defend. So it does not come and offend your illusions. Truth actually just doesn't even recognize illusions. And so one of the best ways to be able to look at this example is when you go to a therapist, let's say, therapists are trained to be very neutral about your stories. They don't get emotionally involved into your stories, because what do we normally try to do? We try to talk to our friends about the victimhood in which I experience, and we want people to buy into our story so we get some sort of payoff for it. The more people agreeing with me, right, the more I can justify the story that I got. Therapists do not do that. They don't justify your story. They don't play into your perceptions, your interpretations. So it actually makes you feel safe, because if you're hurting and you're telling people about this pain and you think that you get rid of it by telling it to people and by projecting it, but you don't, what you do is you grow it. See, the laws of love is that when things are shared, it grows. Ideas grow as it is shared. Love is an idea. Money is an idea. The identity in which you define yourself is also an idea. That's why the Course says enlightenment is not a learning of something new. Enlightenment is an unlearning of something that you made up, so that you may return to the blank space. You may return back to the kingdom. You may wake up from your dreams. So that's the principle of love. Now, can we consciously practice that with money? That's what we get to look at. Where do we cut off flow of money? Because there's an infinite, just like love, just like energy, just like God's promise to you is that there is an unlimited amount for you. There's an abundance of it. Anytime there is ever a gap, it gets filled. Anything that ever feels like a hole or something missing in you, it automatically gets filled. It always does. It's only when you want to be right about the hole that the hole remains empty. And you also have to fight constantly to defend that this hole is missing something. See, if you just let it be, all of a sudden love, opportunities, people just roll into your life to give you a hand, to give you some support, give you some guidance, because the spirit that flows through you, that recognizes there's a hole, the same spirit flows through the other thing or person or situation that comes and fills that. And so the recognition for us, our salvation, our function is to recognize that we lack nothing. And now, can we do that with money? See, money is what makes, in the dream world, in our world, money is actually operates the same way as love. It seems like there's a scarcity of it, right? It's the number one conversation, is scarcity of it. Yet it is printed like there's no tomorrow. There is no scarcity of it. There's an unlimited amount of it. It literally, as human beings, somehow we've brought ourselves to a place where we create a system in which it prints unlimited amount of money. It's the same way that God or universe offers love. It's a printing of love always. So the invitation that and the question to consider now is, do you make the kingdom more like the dream world, or do you make the dream world more like the kingdom? Or do you make money more like love, or you make love more like money? So we wanted to make a distinction there of how the world works here, and then how everything that you want is upside down. And so one of the first lessons of the Holy Spirit in the course is to have is to give all to all. If you want to retain anything, you must give it away. The way to lose it is to try to hold it. That is, for us, I'm like, I don't know. This is my money. I got $5,000 in my bank. That's it. That's all I got. And the more you want to be right about it, the less you end up having in that account. The more you try to hold on to it, the more problems show up, and you just like, I don't know, I had an emergency and then I lost this, and then here's another emergency, and that's that. See, we're not focused on having more come flowing through us. We're focused on holding on to something. You see, like the teachings of the Holy Spirit about having and being and giving and receiving, it's complete opposite than the way we live our life here, because we operate from fear instead of love. And this is why enlightenment is about an unlearning of a fearful world that you have created. That my brothers and my sisters are untrustworthy, that the government is untrustworthy. And really what you're implying there is that I can't trust God. You messed up. You messed up on the way you put me in this world. You messed up on creating this world. Look at how many bad people there are. Look at how corrupt governments are. Look at our society. We're doomed. Look at the way we're treating our planet. I mean, if in every single corner, if fear is on your mind, you will see the world as that. And the Course says, if you remember God in every moment, if you remember love every moment, then you start to see only that in the world as well. God is in everything I see because God is on my mind. Fear is everything I see because fear is on my mind. So then what's on your mind? And what we try to do to avoid all this fear and pain is we try to numb our mind. And the way we numb our mind is we go into automatics. Let's just make this entire thing automatic. I come home immediately, I grab a drink out of the fridge, then I lay on the couch and I put Netflix on, or I put TV on and I watch the news, and I just numb my mind. The aliveness starts to leave you. The aliveness of what's offered to you in this world begins to leave you. You see, there's people that suggest that the Native Americans and all the indigenous tribes around the world, once upon a time, did not have this numbing of the mind because they're always living in the moment. They're always living, doing, and working and experiencing magic in life. Not magic, miracles. When you're living moment to moment, you will experience miracles all the time. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. You'll be put into a situation where you constantly will say, can I trust this moment? Right? What, like, I don't know. I really don't know what to do here. Please, God, help us. You know, that's why all the tribes used to worship different gods and stuff and pray all the time. Because they wouldn't know when the next time food would come. They wouldn't know. It required a lot of faith. And so they seem to have some sort of intelligence that we don't have now, or some sort of wisdom that we're trying to attain from them. But it's also a kind of like a different form of the same world now. We also get to practice faith. I don't know how much money is going to come. I don't know how I'm going to pay these bills. I don't know how I'm going to afford the car that I think I want, or the house, or the life, or being able to travel. I don't know any of that. And when we bring awareness to it, life starts to feel like it's alive. We don't automate everything. Right? So the practice is, can I make the material things in this world more like the eternal world? And I can see that. I can see my mind. I can see the choices I make based on, can I change my mind about it? Right? Anything that happens in your life, the dream world operates from a ever shifting and changing of perception of something. One moment I can love somebody, the next I hate them, the next I love them, and then I hate them and I love them. The changing of it makes it a dream world because you are making it up. You are deciding for yourself whether this is good or this is bad. This is true or this is false. And if you're able to do that with something, it isn't the truth with a capital T. The truth with a capital T is what everything returns to when we finally surrendered and forgiven and forgave it. And when I say forgiveness, I talk about a clearing of your stories on top of it. What in our lives, in our financial life, I wanted to keep this conversation on from money to God, is where can we add more God and more love and more trust, more faith in the way in which we invest our money, in the way in which we give our money, and how we help people with our money, or what do we do with our money? Start to bring this awareness to it rather than letting it run on automatic. And we can notice the words that come out of our mouth as we talk about money. Is it something that is scarce and always slips by? Are you always just on the verge of having nothing? Are deals always not working out for you? Because your experience with money is going to be directly aligned to your belief about money. If it's scarcity that's on your mind about money, then the dream world follows. Projection makes perception. Okay, the course, one of the lessons in the course is that projection makes perception. What I make real in my mind first, if I see fear, if I see hatred, if I see, what I see in my mind about the world, I perceive it back, I project it out, and then I perceive it back. Because all of us on this call right now could be watching the same program, the same news channel, and have a different idea about what we're perceiving back. Different perceptions come back to us. One may say, oh, this person's terrible. The next may say, oh, I really feel for this person. The next may say, who are the parents of this person? And then the next may be more forgiving and more accepting and more, I don't know, what's the truth here now? Because it just vacillates back and forth. How is it that so many people can watch the exact same thing and have different ideas about it? Because it isn't about what happened that's dictating your experience. It's what's on your mind. See, if you practice a lot of forgiveness and you've gone through that, or something's happened to you where you had to access empathy. Then when you see something terrible on the news, you access empathy because it came from your mind first and you project it out and you perceived it back. What you're seeing on the news is a neutral thing that's happening. Just like your investments, just like whatever with your monies, everything is neutral. How do you perceive it? Do you perceive it? Projection makes perception, yes. But how we normally operate, see, it takes alertness, awareness, aliveness to be able to recognize that projection makes perception. Because what you have to do is you have to take accountability and responsibility for what you're seeing in the world, for now what's going on in your life, for how your relationship and the person that really triggers you is. You got to take responsibility for it when you recognize and you truly believe projection makes perception. See, the course always has these lines that pushes you because you have to take responsibility. If you take responsibility, it requires you to actually be conscious in this moment to do that. Because when we become a victim, that's how we go into the automatic. Perception, what's happening out there, what you say is dictating my state of mind. I can't do anything about it. See, if I can't do anything about it, then I go on automatic. And then I just speak unconsciously that I am a victim to this thing that happened. So really what the course is saying that we project our ideas, okay, about the world out into the world, and then we perceive it back so that we can be right about the way that we've perceived it. And then we can be right about being a victim to our perception so that we may be relieved. See, the ego always relieves you of any responsibility. The world is bad, but you're good. You're always separate from everything else. It's you, and then there's the rest of the world out there. It's God's kingdom, and then it's you, right? There's always this thing that is me as an island, rather than how is it that I am included in everything? Radical inclusion. And so the way back to the remembrance of God is to see the sameness that somehow I have chosen and decided that my brothers, my sisters, and I have no separate desires. That we are together and we are one in the love that we actually want to experience. We all want to recognize our own light. We all want to recognize our own function and our own purpose. That is our ultimate goal for ourselves. And it's great because how is the way to do it? The way to do it is to do it for others. That's your answer right there. You return home in pairs. This moment, you and I can have a moment where we lose sight of separation. And we've all experienced this with somebody. Wow, the synchronicity here. Maybe it's the first times that you started courting or dating your partner. You're willing to transcend above every story that you've made about yourself in the presence of this person. Self-actualization is possible through self-transcendence. You must transcend beyond your own image of yourself and in the space of another that allows you to see who you are. And it's no different than the investment game, the multifamily game. You do it by yourself, you get lost. Everything is confusing. You think you have information because to play this game is not about the how to do it. It's not about learning the ABCs of it. It's about a partnership. Who's my pair? Who's my team? Who's my community? Inside a community, it will be faster for you to find the role that you will play to fit into the community. When you have a team, you recognize, okay, well, you got this skill, I got this skill, and somehow we can come together and make whole. See, that's the purpose of a community. That's the purpose of a tribe. Everything is for the greater good of the tribe, because the tribe unites. The tribe helps me remember every day that unity and oneness is what I want. Not money, not a deal, but those things are all given to you. Anything that you could ever want is given to you, but you must recognize that you didn't lack it in the first place. If you believe that you lack it, you hold that belief in place and you end up actually lacking it, and you will experience it. Lack is on my mind. Lack is what I see. And lack is what I will defend and fight against. I will fight other people about my lack. So what is going to show up for you? You think you have a better chance believing in lack to be in a real estate deal or have a great investment? No. So everything still returns back to love and to God. You want success in any area of your life, it all still goes back to your channel of communication to the creator, to the source. And if we can just remember that every time we interrupt our forgetting, okay? What's the purpose of forgetting? Forgetting is to strengthen your remembering. When perceived correctly, every time you forget, it's not a time to punish yourself or to beat yourself up or anything. Forgetting, the purpose of forgetting is to strengthen your remembering. The purpose of things happening in your life is to strengthen the remembering that they hold no value to you. That what you thought was valuable is actually valueless because you didn't need it. And when you recognize that you don't need it, somehow everything just flows to you. Because that's the way it works. There's no lack. And if you believe there's no lack, you will constantly experience no lack. You're like, oh, I have no idea. And all of a sudden, $10,000 lands on your lap. All of a sudden, somebody comes and gives you an opportunity of a lifetime. But when you chase it, when you chase the money, when you chase the bag avoids you. It's like there's a carrot dangling in front of you. Just keep chasing it. And then you wait. You're like, I'm not chasing this thing anymore. And all of a sudden, the string wears out and just falls. And you're like, oh, here's the carrot. Here's the bag. Right? When the time is right, when the season is right, and you have faith and you trust, that string is going to wear out. That stick is going to wear out. And what you think you want, just going to fall right in front of you. Yeah. So I'll take a pause right here. That's my 38-minute introduction to this morning's call. Let's have some conversations this morning. So many amazing people. I see names. I love when I see people that have been here from the start and then I haven't seen them in a while and then they come back and yes, I'm talking to you. You know who I'm talking to. And it's just amazing seeing people come back. So let's open it up for any conversations.
Alex, Antoine, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, man.
As usual, just trailblazing stuff here. When you say transcending beyond yourself into the space of others to see who you are, and it applies to business, can you rewind on that a little bit? On a deal or anything, like an example or something?
Yeah. I mean, when we so for example, if I had to do it by myself, I got to play every role and I may hate the role. And then it makes me hate the deal and it makes me hate the business because I'm doing it by myself. But when I transcend above that it's 100% me, that maybe it's 50-50. Maybe we're going to do 10-10-10 across the board. Maybe it's 5-5-5. Maybe it's 1-1-1 across the board. 1%. And I'm like, oh yeah, all I got to do is things that I really love doing anyways. And then as I live more into on a team, see, beyond just me, now this deal makes up 10 people, 20 people. I can see that I play a role in there. And now I can actually self-actualize what it is that I love to do and what about me. In teamships, is that a word? In partnerships, in teams. We recognize the role that we play. See, the most important thing is recognize what role I play, not to just have the deal happen. It's let me do it. See, this is again, bring that spiritual presence and conscience to everything we do. If my personal alignment is not to spend it's not to spend all the time on this deal, right? Because there are other things that I prioritize in my life. Then I will give only what I can give here. I will recognize what I like doing so that I can enjoy doing it and that it's actually an enjoyable thing to be in a deal. And then if you do it by yourself, now all of a sudden, all the burden is on you. All the stress is on you. And it's no fun. It's the same thing as the career that you choose. I want to know that the business that I'm going to has values, ethics, principles, purpose, mission statements that is in alignment to what I believe is good and real in my life. Because if I really, I want to experience love, but I go into the business of slaughtering animals as my job, like that's going to be so out of alignment for you that you will feel miserable every day and you won't even know why. See, it's because you are choosing something out of some made up necessity. You are giving up a part of yourself. And so in that, you can't actualize yourself. You don't actualize yourself until you are in a space with somebody else, a second person, to realize, wow, I don't have to do it on my own. I can share that somehow the reflection of myself through looking at you, I can see where my gap is. I want to get here. I want to become a billionaire, and I'm sitting across somebody that only talks about scarcity of money. Where do you think that's going to go? Your actualization is going to be about lack. Then you go around somebody that's a billionaire, all of a sudden through their reflection, you look at them and you see yourself, all of a sudden your goals get bigger. What you believe is possible for you gets bigger. So you transcend. You have to transcend beyond your own limitations. You are where you are because you made up all the stories that you had about everything, all the ideas that you had about you, about your life, about your situation. You made it up. That's why the Course says, if you want to break free, it's about undoing every idea that you've ever had. And that every idea includes the identity of you. Who do you have to become a millionaire is better and more important than actually becoming the millionaire. See, our fulfillment and our happiness doesn't really come from having more material stuff. It comes from the growth, the forward movement of ourselves. That brings the fulfillment to us. And so then what are we actually chasing? Are we chasing material things? Because out of my mouth, I chase material things. Rather than chasing a new mindset, rather than chasing personal growth. See, this is why Jim Rohn, one of my favorite speakers, says your income does not far exceed your personal development. So what are you focused on? When you start focusing on the income, it's a thing that doesn't have a metric. There's no metric. It's just sometimes it'll be high, sometimes it'll be low, and it just kind of keeps disappearing. But then you shift yourself. Who do I gotta be? We put intentions to shifting ourselves, because sometimes we personally grow just by going through experiences. Actually, we do, when viewed correctly, when we're not victims to our circumstances. When we see them as learning lessons, yes, we do grow. But when you put an intention to it, when this is what I'm intending to do, and every moment I'm chasing personal growth, then all of a sudden you're accelerating. You're accelerating it. And really, though, at the end of the day, the Course says none of this really means anything, because you're in a dream. So then all the hardship, all the confusion, all of that, you can actually just give it all up, because it's a dream world. You're in a dream anyways. And one day we will all wake up and we'll realize, wow, that was a happy dream. All the stuff that I made important to me wasn't really that important. All the time that I wasted. So then now the practice, see, this is a higher level conversation, is how do we chase peace? How do we just chase peace? Because that's really all we want. I don't need to be something else. I don't need to make anything else. How do I just have peace in this moment with everything that's showing up? Just being present to life and being at peace with the presence to life. Michael Barnes. Go ahead, brother.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Great information, Alex. I put in the chat 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. Depending on your religious beliefs, some people will read it, but it talks about love. And just you putting this call on expressing love, trying to get others to understand love versus money is awesome. When you talk about the transition or the transcending, I started thinking about what Grant says about treat yourself to first class. You'll never think the same again. And once I started doing that, my brain expanded, because I couldn't go back and sit in the back of the plane anymore. It was like, even though we're going at the same space, same speed, I knew that I wanted something better. And to me, God allows me to think in abundance, because he or she is omnipresent and omnipotent. So, thank you for that. I got a doctor's appointment at 11:30, so I got to run, but I wanted to at least say thank you.
Hey man, thank you for being here. And I love it. I see you around so much. Like, I definitely believe that you and I got some stuff to do together in this lifetime. So keep trucking away. Keep being awesome, bro. All right. Any other thoughts in this moment? And here's the thing too. As I say transcendence, and the words that I say, you will interpret it differently. Different thoughts will come. And none of it is wrong, but also none of it is right either. Just allow it to be what it's going to be. It's perfect the way it is. Okay, whatever thoughts come up to your mind, it's exactly what's supposed to be there. Okay, so other thoughts, other questions. Anybody from any Instagram live, from YouTube live, from my live in my Zoom? Take any questions at this point. Any thoughts, any comments? Okay, well.
Yes, I can share an analogy.
Hi, hey, Heather.
Hey, Alex. Once a number of years ago, I was told about an analogy that love is like a beautiful, gorgeous butterfly. You hold it in your hand and you can look at the beautiful, beautiful wings, but you can never close your hand or you'll crush all of that beauty. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm emotional about it. But anyway, I thought that's what came to my mind when you were talking about love and holding on to it. And I guess money would be the same, kind of the same thing. You just do good with it, and there you go.
Yeah. And money is really, the value of money is tied to time. So really, you can be abundant with time or money, and it will give you the same abundance result. But, thank you, Heather, for sharing that. It gave me chills down my spine, and, those are always good. Like, I know that we're in a divine space when that shows up. So I appreciate you bringing this emotion to this call. Thank you.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Eric. What's up, brother?
Hey, brother. So I'll share, because kind of what you said earlier about, the team, having a team around you and community, and lately I've been feeling like less and less fulfilled by what I'm doing here and who I'm working with, and just the way it's been going, and I've just been sensing that like a change needed to be made, and the universe is just opening up new things and new opportunities for me elsewhere, and even expanding, just shifting the role here. So I don't know, kind of feeling glad I'm here, and I got to hear you speak into that stuff again, and just grateful for you guys and the tribe and the growth, and stepping into the unknown and giving it, knowing that there's a higher plan for my life.
Yeah. And we
So-
always got your back. So, you
Yeah.
always got a family and a tribe to turn back to anytime. Anytime you feel lost, you should be able to find your tribe and find your center and your purpose again.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to do anything alone. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, well, I thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And I got tired of realizing I'm trading my time for money, and that's just, there's no exit from that unless
Yeah.
not, yeah.
Unless you have a goal, you have to be clear about your goal. And most of the times, the way out of that goal is to actually break out of money. What is the bigger purpose of what I'm serving? Then you stop thinking about I'm trading my time for money. See, if your goal has to do with money, that conversation would just keep circling back. But if your conversation is about making a positive impact in somebody's life, or making a positive impact in the community, or finding your own voice and your own truth or your own songs, then none of that even matters. You're no longer focusing on trading time for money.
Right. Well, that's what it was for the first year or so, and then lately it's
I know.
been shifting, and that became focus, that I was trading time for money, and this is not going anywhere anytime soon, to be helping the community or helping other people. It's just, so anyway, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I would focus, because if you focus on that I'm trading time for money conversation, then it'll just always be that. But if today, to just kind of help you through the day, focus on the lives that you've impacted by where you're working. And I know where I know where you're at, and I know the lives that have been impacted because of that place. So focus on that idea, and it'll give you more peace, and it'll give you more fulfillment in what you're doing on a day-to-day. And then you can still choose to exit if you could put your time somewhere else, but focus on the impact that you have made here, rather than it's just a trading time for money.
Yeah, well, the choice was made for me last night, made aware. So that's, a few weeks left, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. It's a new chapter, and just embrace the change. Move through the change gracefully, knowing like, okay, well, I'm grateful for my opportunity here and the time that I've spent here and the people that have supported me. And it's time to go play a new game.
Yeah.
And I got the good game for you to play.
Yeah. All right. Good. Tell me about it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, hop on my calls Monday, Thursdays. I do lots of them.
All right. Yeah. I'll have more
Hey,
time.
we're doing actually, you know what? We're going to be in Florida tomorrow, and we have a birthday party celebration. Lots of people there, and I'll talk about what it is that we're doing.
Okay. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. I'll see you there. Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thanks, brother.
Lyra, hello, welcome. Good to see you again.
Morning, Alex. Again,
Morning.
thank you for your time. I was noodling on this saying that you just said, forgetting is to strengthen your remembering. So every day, I make intentions of, try to be neutral, don't judge anybody, right? And then, you mentioned something about what you have in your mind, you project, and then you perceive it, right? So there are during the course of my day, I would come across some things that somehow I would be conscious, and then I will try to stick to my intention. So then somehow I would get lost. I go to sleep, I get unconscious, right? And then what happens is the following day or after the fact, I would review it. What did I do? Oh my God, I fail again, right? So I was beating myself up and I'm like, how do I really do it? Right? So I have that question in my mind. But then I think that totally made sense about what you said. Forgetting is to strengthen your remembering. Don't beat yourself up. You are being reminded that what your intention is, is that anything that you're coming across, it's about your learning or undoing, right? So thank you for that. It's tough. It's really
If you say
tough
so.
every day.
It's tough if you say so.
Well, I guess so.
There you go. I guess so. That now you're moving in the right direction.
Okay, great.
So, beautifully said, first of all. And so this is why it's called what you have right there is a miracle. So this is a course in miracles. There are principles of the miracles in the beginning of in the book. Okay, in chapter 1. A miracle is on one level identified as a shifting of fear and judgment to a place of love and actualization and acceptance. So what you just said right there is you had a moment of miracle of clarity, which you recognize what was once fearful and now it's grateful. Now it's loving. So once you beat yourself up, now with one line from the course, it created a miracle moment for you that, oh man, every time that I fail, quote unquote, what an amazing lesson. It's a lesson from God for me to choose again because I chose wrongly the first time. Thank you. See, instead of beating yourself up, now you start to shift every time you beat yourself up to a grateful moment. And it's the same thing with people that you cannot forgive in your life. They trigger you. Each time they trigger you is to help you see that you have forgotten who your brother and your sister is. And see, if you look at it that way, wow. When we lose our peace, when we go into unconscious, it's not about that we fall asleep. It's just that we've forgotten that peace is what I want. So when you hold a grudge and you hold something against somebody, you have forgotten that it's peace that you want. Because in that moment, you want to be right about being at war. You want to be right about the conflicts. So if you just remember, is it peace that I want or do I want to be right? In this moment, it's like, I can't forgive this person for what they did to me 20 years ago. I'm still carrying it. They're the reason why I can't be in a relationship. They're the reason why I don't have money, and just blaming all that. Like, what? You want to be right about it or you want peace and happiness? Which is it? It's not that complicated, but the wanting and the fighting to be right about it makes it complicated. Oh, but this person that, but no, that doesn't take away the fact that it happened. Okay, well, sure. If you want to keep it, you want to keep living it like it's got a hold on you, then it's your choice. Right? So then we move when we start to see that this forgetting that I want peace, that I want to be right instead, I can look at it and say, oh, thank you. Thank you for teaching me. If peace is what I want, you've now shown me where peace is not for me. So instead of blaming and being a victim, I start to turn into, thank you. I start to see that person as a teacher. Thank you. Thank you. And you just keep repeating it until you repeat. No, I cannot repeat it. I'm sorry. I don't remember what I said, but there's a replay though. So put down the time. It's exactly 1 hour in. Right. I was going somewhere with this. Anyways, to shift from a perception of pain, suffering, blame, judgment to a place of gratitude is the miracle. Now, that's one level of miracle, is the shifting of the perception. The other miracle, the higher, not in terms of judgment hierarchy higher, but just a different level of miracle, a deeper realization of what miracle is the love that is behind that. It makes it even possible for you to do that. That's the true miracle. That's the miracle. And that's the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit's holding that for you. Otherwise, we just get lost when we forget what it is that we truly want. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome, and thank you. Antoine.
Well, you've answered my question like 3 times over already in what you just said, but I guess just for sharing purposes, I am going through some transformations as well, and about the anxiety that I go through the day when issues come about. And certain issues trigger certain emotions, dealing with that person. Oh, not again. Oh, that person's toxic, and that topic's about money. It's going to be, a lot of, headbutting. So all that to say that the transformation has to do with shifting of perception, as you say, or putting an intention into that moment, which brings about, I think what you said, I'm going to paraphrase, putting an intention into the situation to chase personal growth, then you're accelerating. I think you said it that way. And it's very tough to do. And I guess if I had to ask the question at this point, is that the emotional part or the focus part, can you comment a little bit about, okay, for instance, that person is going to be toxic. Okay, how do you put an intention or a specific focus to it? Or, how do you deal with those, all those different issues? So that, do you just put yourself above it before you go in? Or, help me out here. I'm trying to
so
go in. Go ahead. Yeah.
Everybody has the same anxiety, just about something a little bit different. The form of it may change. Okay. But everybody's got an anxiety about this. Everybody's got some sort of anxiety about the world. Now, the Course says, you put yourself there. You've trusted in your own strength and you trust in your own belief system. And so what are you doing now? You're trying to purify the situation before going into it yourself. Here you go again, trusting yourself that made the mistake. What did Einstein say? What's the quote? The problem in which the source in which the problem came from can't beat the source in which the answer comes from. I just paraphrased that. It sounds pretty good though. That's actually a good one. 803. Okay. And so how do you shift it? You shift it by giving it over to the Holy Spirit. You ask the Holy Spirit in the moment, not that you want to change it to look a certain way before going into meeting this toxic person. Spirit, I give this moment to you, right? You do a little intention or a little prayer that what I want to do here is give this moment to you, give this relationship over to you. You show me what it's supposed to be. You show me what I'm supposed to see here. I'm going to give over my own judgment of it. I don't need to purify it before giving it to you. You can purify it for me. See, it's not about the person. It's your relationship to the guide, to God. This person is helping you in this moment. It's giving you an opportunity to deepen your own faith. And so in this moment, I give it over to you. Please show me this brother or this sister to me in a way that will bring more light and more peace to me. That's it, right? You just give it over. But if you're like, okay, I need to see him as awesome, happy as this, you've now tried to do it yourself again. But you've already held the judgment as this person is toxic. So you can't really lie to yourself. You're actually just going to become more confused going into it and looking for something, not knowing where to look. Because you saw this person as toxic, and that idea is valuable to you. You can't change it on your own, but you could be shown a different way to look at it. So you give it over. And when you relinquish your judgment, all of a sudden, all you see is, oh, thanks. Thanks, Spirit. You know, thanks for showing me what's actually here besides what I just made up on my mind. All of your problems, every single one of you. Remember, I said that your number one problem isn't about this person. Your problem is your disconnection, your communication to your creator. So then here, I see something that is not here. Please show me what it is that I'm actually looking at. I want to free myself and I want to free my brother. And the way that I do it is I do it through you. And that's the way out of everything, is to find your connection again. It's kind of like when here's my analogy of the day that I just came up with in my mind, a picture. The drain is clogged, right? The drain is clogged. Every time you turn the water on, it's like, why is my sink filling up? Why is this thing filling up? Instead of looking at the connection, the tube, all we do is we keep trying to scoop the water out. And the faucet is on the entire time. We just keep trying to scoop the water out. Like, man, this thing never ends. This drain, the sink is always like this. It's always toxic. And I have to keep working to get water out of it, instead of where's the blockage? Let me look to the blockage. And this is the same thing. You are that channel. You are the drain in which there's a blockage. On the other side is your source, is the creator, is the life force, is whatever. It's the cosmic intelligence. And you've clogged it with your own stuff. Your own wanting to be right, that this drain or this sink is toxic. And when I say this sink, I mean the person that you feel is toxic. Whether it's your boss, your coworker, your mother, your father, your sister, whatever. Set the intention. Today, I will free you and I will free myself from the prison in which I made. And the way that I do it is I just get up and I stop guarding the door. Spirit, you guard the door. Okay, here you go. Here's the jail. They're in it. I made the jail in my mind. The door is actually open. And here's my seat. I'm sitting outside to make sure you don't leave the jail cell. So we're both actually imprisoned, right? And the relationship is just toxic every time. Or, you know what, Spirit, you sit here. You decide what to do with them. I'm gonna leave. I want my freedom. I want my happiness. And then there you go. Practice, and then your mind just begins to change. You no longer find it valuable to hold somebody a prisoner. You find more value in the peace and the joy that comes with not holding this person prisoner. Right? So that's why the Course says, all of your problems, give it over to the Holy Spirit. Begin to work on the communication with Source. All of our problems stem from that. And we have an authority problem with everything in life. That's the problem. It's an authority problem. And it actually stems from our authority problem with God. We're always at odds. We're always at battle with God. And we've also, as a human species, somehow, because we are in war with God, that we think that God's going to be at war with us and will judge us and punish us and send us to hell and whatever we made up about it. See, we've brought God down to our plane instead of bringing ourselves up to it. Instead of bringing light down to the darkness, give the darkness up to the light so that you may see the illusion. By bringing a light down to the darkness, what you're going to do is every time you turn your head, what's darkness? The darkness is behind you again. Then you turn back and shine over here, darkness is around again. By trying to make the darkness, by trying to fix the darkness, all you're doing is making the idea of darkness bigger and bigger. But when you give the darkness up to the light, all of a sudden you're like, oh, there was no darkness in the first place. See, the mindset of it changed. What you believe is real begins to change. And then the world becomes lighter, less responsibility on your shoulders. Because if where the world and the species of the human being and all the planets really rested on your shoulders, yeah, okay. Your anxiety and all the stuff that you experience is justified. But it ain't. You don't even make a speck in the universe. Okay, so whatever you're doing, it ain't that important anyways. But it's only important to the world that you perceive. The world does not need to change. Your perception of the world needs to change. So hopefully that entire thing helped you with this toxic, quote unquote, person in your life. Just leave it. Don't guard the jail cell of it. It's not, you didn't sign up to be the prisoner, the guard in there. So don't put yourself there. It's not that fun. Yes.
Thank you, Alex.
Alex, hi, how you doing?
Hey man,
How are you?
I'm great.
Hi guys, hi Natalie, how you doing? Hey, quick question. Our goal of my family is to open an orphanage in Peru, but we see it that we think we need to have the financial freedom first to open it because it's a big responsibility. But at the same time, as you mentioned, it's like we want to give it to the Holy Spirit and to give us the solution, not to feel overwhelmed about the decision and just do it. But our concern is the financial freedom. That what will happen if we don't have the resources? Who's going to solve all these problems? And it's just money. But what would be an advice? Is just to do it a little by little, or just wait until we are financially, we have a passive income that it will solve the problem? Or
What if I told you that your financial freedom is tied to you actually having this mission completed? It's the other way around. It's not that I need to be financially free first. You see, what we've been talking about community and tribe is that it doesn't gotta be you. See, when you think it's gotta be you and the responsibility lies on your shoulders, it is heavy. But you're in our group. You're in the Legends community group. We have a commitment to donate a whole ton of money this year. Does it need to be you to get started? I lived in Peru. I know a bunch of people. I know people that may be interested in supporting and doing things down there, and they may not even want money. See, the thing is, they don't even live off of, they don't have financial abundance, but they have purpose and love abundance. And I was in Belize, and people are just so much happier.
yes,
They live on $200 a month. I'm like, all right. See, it gives you perception. It doesn't have to be, I need to be financially free first. I need to speak into the reality of this orphanage now. And then financial freedom and financial abundance and independence comes from my belief that it is real. I don't need to make a certain amount of money before I go and do this. By doing this, I may actually realize the financial freedom that I already live in.
Okay.
Right? Because if you rested on financial freedom, it will always be tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and this orphanage will never get done. Find the drive in you of why you wanted to do it in the first place, and be like, I'm going to die tomorrow, so I need to freaking do this. Okay. I need to make an impact. I need to do this. Let me figure out who I need in place. If I need money, who's got my money? If I need time, who's got my time? If I need somebody boots on the ground, this is multifamily all over again. Boots on the ground. Okay. You got your orphanage. This is your deal here. Okay. You source all the things, you do your due diligence, you find the right people in place, you figure out the expenses and do all of it. Okay. And still make it operating, make it positively cash flowing as well, because it needs to sustain itself. So you also got to put a sustainable model in place so that it's not like, oh, I got to give time, I got to give money. What's the model? There is a sustainable model that will make this thing last forever.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Focus on that. And then you will start to see, oh, my mind is about sustainability. And then all of a sudden, oh, financial freedom is about sustainability. And so they're not separate. You don't need to have one first or the other, but the way that you have it, if you don't have it done already, and if it's not in progress, it means the way you have it is probably upside down.
Okay. Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, yeah, I have to switch my mind and thinking,
Yeah. I mean, maybe you don't have to do anything, but I would invite you to start talking about this idea more often in our calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Make it more real for you. Start to identify every day you should be moving towards this. If this is what you want to do in your heart, if this is the impact you want to make,
It is.
then make this your life mission. Outwitting the devil, Napoleon Hill, is about finding your life's purpose and doing it before you leave this dream world.
All righty, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, good.
Yeah.
You got a whole community behind you, and we've been looking for a place to put money. So amazing. All right, I want you to talk about it more. I'm gonna call you out on that. If you're okay with me doing it.
Oh, perfect. No, absolutely. You know what? It's my dream. It's my family dream.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, when we met, the thing that we were eager to help people, and we saw so much in Peru. As you saw in Peru, there's so much poor people, and nobody have the right beliefs. Everybody just there's no purpose in life.
Well, wait. I would invite you to remove that belief as well, right? So, here's the thing. Nobody needs anything. Nobody needs anything that you have or what you don't have. God will provide that. Okay. They're going through what they're going through because that's their curriculum. So first, let me remove my own, they don't know it. They need this and they need that. Let me remove all of it. Let me just come from a place of I just want to be in service and I want to give more love to the place. I want to create the orphanage. Let's focus on what the good the orphanage is going to bring, not what things and people are lacking, because they're not lacking anything. All right. That's the belief I want you to also invite you to shift into, is that they don't lack anything. I was in Peru. The mamitas are making, 30 soles or less than $10 for a whole day of work. Okay. And they're happy as it can be. So, and then you got people here making millions of dollars and they're as grumpy and as pissed off as they can possibly be. So who's got what in there, right?
Okay.
One of the amazing things is to think like a kid thinks. And it doesn't matter what is happening in the environment. Kids will find a way to have fun. In Africa, in the most, harsh place for us, kids will have fun. Kids will run around, and I see all these, kids on YouTube now in Africa doing these dances and stuff, and they look like they're having great fun.
Yeah.
They don't got anything we got, but they look like they're still having fun in war zones. Okay. During, wars, kids are still finding a way to have fun and running around the rubbles and all that stuff too. Right. So yeah, let's bring our minds back and let go of all the beliefs that we had about it. And I have a deep connection to Peru. So I would love to be a part of this project with you in Peru.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I'm going there in April. Let's go. Who's coming? Who's
Oh.
coming with me?
We're going in February. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Maybe we're going.
Yeah.
I'll show you
Tina.
about. I show you some places. It's yeah. We have a big dream over there, but we never talk about it. But
All
yeah.
right, let's start talking about it more.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so
All right,
much.
awesome. Thank you for talking about it. Tina, welcome back.
Yes, always perfect. I'm back. And so funny. It's always perfect, the conversation, because I think probably the last time I really listened, I was still battling judgment and being right with my mother-in-law. And it took a lot of work. So I just wanted to say to people that, all of this, the Course in Miracles has worked so much for me, but like, don't put yourself on a timeline. If you don't wake up tomorrow and you don't judge people, you're judging people, it's not a failing. And I judged my mother-in-law for months. And it was like, we had a conversation and you almost said verbatim, what you said today. So I just wanted to share that, forgive yourself also, because it might take some time, and I've come to the realization, like I was talking to a friend the other day, there are no toxic people. There is only your toxic mind.
Mhm.
So, and, I battled because it was the special relationship with my mother-in-law and I wanted to be right and everything.
Mm.
And then again, this is a perfect conversation in a lot of ways, because, me, I'm a big Bible reader, and a lot, for anybody who ever studies the Bible, they should study the Course in Miracles, because it just explains it in a clearer way. So the tithing and everything. So I totally get that. And it's really hard in my situation now, and I'm not trying to be victim. My husband's extremely controlling, like everything you're saying, he like chases the carrot. And the other day he's like, I got to make enough money to take care of everyone in the family. And I was like, oh my God, that's a horrendous task. Why would you even take that on?
Well,
So anyway,
again, I would also invite you to remove that horrendous task, because,
Yeah.
it's to see the love in what he's doing, not the
Yeah.
judgment of what he's doing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
wow, that is very admirable of you. You're always inviting into a space of love. Love will take care of itself. Love will teach
Right.
him everything he needs to learn.
Right. And like I'm talking to him out of love, like going like, don't do that to yourself. But you're right. I'm in a mindset of like that's a horrible task. And it's
Yeah.
completely, it's completely within realm of being done. Right.
Yeah. And it's the same thing as everything else. See, everything we've talked about today, different forms of the same thing.
Right.
Right. It just comes from like, I know what's best. It's our
Right.
authority problem, our disconnection to source. I know what's best for you. It's not about what you're doing. It's about what I think you should be doing. I know what's best for me. And then we find ourselves in conflict all the time. Like, wait, do I even know what's best for me?
Right.
Right,
And then
so,
then you go into a patting yourself on the back because I'm only thinking of him.
Yeah.
I get it. And I did want to share, like, I met these 3 women one time, and I think they used to be nuns, and they called themselves Sisters to Charity. And my friend used to do the accounting for them, and they never worried. And every single month their rent was paid. Every single month they were able to help homeless people. So it is truly just giving it up in trust. And, it's just the ego and controlling. But I will say I stayed away for a long time because my head was firmly into judgment. But I'm back.
Awesome. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, again, we don't need to do any of this by ourselves. You can do it the hard way or you can do it the easy way. There's no judgment on that. Okay. Either one, you're going to get there. It's just how much delay do you want to have? And remember from one of the themes today, we return home in pairs. In this conversation, in doing this call, I have extreme gratitude for people hopping on this call all the time, because it helped. Every conversation here is impacting my life. I actually don't even remember like what we were talking about before this, but like I know that my mind is getting purified. I know that through like the relationship and the interaction with people on this call, I'm beginning to love deeper. My capacity to understand, my capacity to be forgiving, my capacity to be at peace just continues to grow every time I'm on these calls. Every time somebody is here, every time that I see that I'm making an impact in somebody's life, I'm like, man, you don't even know the impact you're making in my life. And so these calls, people are like, oh my God, thank you for your time. Well, actually, thank you guys for your time. Otherwise, I would just be sitting here reading it on my own, and it's just less fun. Why do it if it's less fun? See, I have a model. If it ain't fun, I ain't doing it. But you can find fun in everything. Fun is a perception, right? So I can learn to have fun with it. I just don't have the proper motivation for certain things. So it's not fun yet. You know, it's not fun for me to eat an olive. I don't like olives. But, you know, I all of a sudden enjoy coconut water. I used to not like coconut water either. But I keep giving it a try. Like in different scenarios and circumstances, all of a sudden it changes. And I always push myself to that. You know, I was in Belize and I was just so thirsty, and there was a coconut stand on the side. I'm like, I hate coconuts. I hate coconut water. And all of a sudden I'm like, but I'm about to die of thirst. Proper motivation. Now I'm like, give me this $10 coconut thing. And also because I spent $10 on a coconut, okay, I'm like, dude, you have Belizean price and then you have my tourist price, don't you? And he's like, yeah, of course. So I paid $10 for a coconut, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing I ever drank in my life. And now I think I like coconut water, but I've had a perception and a made up story that I didn't like coconut water for a long time. Right. Okay. So that's just my most recent, work that happened. See, everyone's talking about like, some crazy work. I'm talking about just changing my perception about coconut water. I still have yet to done it with olives. Okay. Every time I eat an olive, I'm like, oh, it's disgusting. I spit it out. It doesn't even matter what kind of olive it is, but I do. I'm like, okay, this is the day that I am going to change my perception about olives. And I eat it and I spit it out every time until I stop holding this story, and probably until I stop telling it. I'm probably not going to like olives. So it's work. Like Tina's got work on this freaking, on forgiving her mother-in-law, and I'm over here trying to have forgiveness with olives. So it's all fun. Like this is fun for me, right? I make everything fun. So yeah. Okay. A lot of hands up. Let's go. Go ahead, Melinda. You gotta unmute first though. I can't lip read over this. Ask to unmute.
Okay. Now, when you're hard on yourself, after you're hard on yourself, treat yourself to something. Like I buy myself flowers, just to say, hey, you know what? A small accomplishment. You did. I mean, you were hard on yourself, but then you realized what was the right thing to do. So you should give yourself a reward. You know what I mean? I mean, because sometimes you don't celebrate the little things. Instead, you're always so hard on yourself, and instead of being a little nice and gentle. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I see.
I mean, I don't know if I'm explaining that good. Am I?
Yeah, you're explaining it perfectly.
Well, I mean,
it's a good interruption. It's a good interruption to what once was a judgment, a punishment on ourselves. Now you are shifting it into, I enjoy it. Every time I'm hard and I judge myself, I'm gonna buy myself flowers.
Yep. I mean, just treat yourself to something. I mean, it doesn't have to be flowers. It can be whatever.
Yeah. There you go.
That's mine. But I just think that every now and then you have to celebrate how far you've come instead of always looking at the past and how, where you've been. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think I'm saying it right.
You're saying it perfectly.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. So celebrate. Celebration is an important aspect, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So appreciate that. That's awesome. So I
Anyway.
will find something to celebrate with today. Thank you for the reminder.
Celebrate with a pizza with olives on it.
Yeah. I celebrate with pizza too much. It's time to stop celebrating with pizza.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alex, can I add some color to what Melinda just said?
Let's go. Add some color.
Melinda, as you spoke, what came to my mind is how we deal with temptation, and we fall short every day. Some days are better than others. Personally, the days that I've been successful in resisting temptation, I never rewarded myself. I never thought about rewarding myself. I just kind of like, oh, I survived today. Tomorrow, I'm like, oh, I give in, and okay, okay. So I love what you said in the sense that by celebrating, rewarding ourselves, and having that sense of gratification, I think fills a space that was never there for me before. So I just want to appreciate, totally thank you for what you said there.
See, you said it perfectly. All right. So this is going to conclude our call for the day. Thank you guys for being here. I will see you all on Sunday. Also, you know, I do a pretty good job having my underwriting call, my Monday night mastermind call with reminders and stuff, because I have people opted in, and I have a VA that handles all that for me. And how come I don't do it for A Course in Miracles? It's interesting. I get to look at that. And instead of just like randomly I post about this call 2 minutes before the call on different chats. So in the near future, expect to have a opt-in thing with a reminder of when these calls are going to happen. All right. So that way we can have more fun with more people. So what we're going to do now is I will close this out with one final lesson. Hopefully, you know, you can take, if you don't remember anything, just take this lesson right here and go on with your day. So if you will, and if you can in the place, just close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let go of all the conversations that we talked about. All right. None of those things you need to hold on to, because it's nothing that you don't already know deep inside. So let's let this moment teach us about this moment. And with an open heart and open mind, here we go. Lesson 221, peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still. Father, I come to you today to seek the peace that you alone can give. I come in silence, in the quiet of my heart, the deep recesses of my mind. I wait and listen for your voice. My Father, speak to me today. I come to hear your voice in silence and in certainty and love. Sure, you will hear my call and answer me. Now do I wait in quiet. God is here because we wait together. I am sure that he will speak to you and you will hear. Accept my confidence, for it is yours. Our minds are joined. We wait with no intent to hear our Father's answer to our call, to let our thoughts be still and find his peace, to hear him speak to us of what we are and to reveal himself onto his Son. Peace to my mind. Let all my thoughts be still. Amen. I hope. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody, for
Amen.
being here. So much blessings and love sent your way today. May you go out there and extend that to all. See you on Sunday. See you.